Ladies and gentlemen, Abu Simbel.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
Our name is GoingGoing.BackBack.
In 2019, we had 3 kids under 5, a new minivan, and a house full of things.
With our eldest due to start school in a few months, we decided it was now or never to take an extended vacation. And so we set off to explore the world and be back in time for his first day.
We were several months into our trip when the pandemic hit and schools around the globe shut down.
It confirmed the idea that was already brewing in our minds, that there was no better classroom than the one our kids were already in, the world.
We sold our minivan, gave away everything that couldn't fit into a suitcase, and became full-time travelers.
Join us as we very slowly travel the world, going, back.
We had to leave Elephantine Island at 4 o'clock in the morning. First we took a boat.
Alright guys, you ready? Shukran!
It was dark and we couldn't see very much. After we got off the island, it was a 3.5-hour drive to Abu Simbel.
I'm trying to see the rules though, Bob. We're about to enter Abu Simbel Temple. The admission fees here are 275 Egyptian pounds for adults, half of that for children 6 and up, and free for kids 5 and under. If you're a student with an international student card and you're under 30 years old, you can also get the child rate. We stopped at the cafe right outside the gate to grab the kids some snacks. Keep in mind that here, as at most major sites, you are going to pay a lot more than you would elsewhere. There's water. So even though it is hot, there's a really nice breeze actually off this water. And even just the sight and the smell of the water makes it feel cooler than it would be if it was further into the desert and away from this water. So here they're showing you the original side of the temple and then the current side of the temple. Amazing. So it's under us. The original temple site is under us now, and the new temple site is right here. So to the right, you've got the Temple of Nefertari, the great wife of Rameses II, and to the left, the Temple of Rameses II. 4 statues of the king. Well, I don't even know, 100 times bigger than life? Rameses the Great really wanted you to know he was great. But they were even able to salvage all these other sections up here. Ladies and gentlemen, Abu Simbel.
I walked up when I waited, so I looked up first time. So cool. This first one is the thing in Greece.
The Parthenon.
The Parthenon.
It's huge inside. Let's do it. The Great Temple of Abu Simbel is situated near Egypt's southern border in Nubia and is among its most awe-inspiring monuments. It was built by King Rameses II, the beloved of Amun, during the 19th dynasty, circa 1279 to 1213 BCE, to project the reputation of Egyptian power to the south. The Great Temple took up to 20 years to build, and the most striking aspect of this rock-cut temple is its breathtaking facade, with its 4 iconic 20-meter-tall, seated colossal statues of Rameses II. One of these colossi collapsed in antiquity because of an earthquake, and its fragments can still be seen on the ground. A number of Ramses' family members can be seen standing at his feet, including his mother Tui, his wife Nefertari, his 2 eldest sons, and 6 of his daughters. The first room inside the temple is a large hall with 8 colossal statues of Rameses II, represented in the form of Osiris. The hall's side walls are decorated with military scenes, where the king is shown victorious over the Hittites in the Battle of Kadesh. A number of side rooms can be accessed from the main hall that are decorated with ritual scenes of the king and various gods. At the far end of the temple is the sanctuary, where 4 statues of gods can be seen seated side by side: Ptah, Amun-Ra, a deified version of Ramses II, and Ra-Hurakti. On the 22nd of February and the 22nd of October every year, a very special event can be witnessed, demonstrating the ancient Egyptians' mastery of astronomy and architecture. Twice a year, the sun's rays enter the temple, illuminating the faces of Amun-Ra, Ramses II, Ra-Hurakti, and Ptah seated at the back wall of the inner sanctuary. More beauty. I think they already came in this room, love. Nefertari, yeah. Next building over. So here we are. It's really beautiful. They keep the lighting probably deliberately low to preserve, but it also works to set the mood quite well. It's a pretty incredible place. The scale is far out. Each room is so well preserved that it's really hard to fathom that it was all moved. That not only was it created in the first place, which is incredible in its own right, but then in the 1970s they picked it all up and moved it to save it from the rising waters from the Aswan Dam. Every room is incredible. Just beautiful. You know, they say that Ramses the Great wasn't even renowned for the artistry of his reign, but this is pretty darn impressive. Maybe there's not as much fine workmanship, but the scale and the scope. Whew. Ooh, we're here with a group of people, so I can't spend that all day that I would spend if I was here by myself. Or just, you know, with our family. If it was just us and the kids, I'd hand the kids a bunch of snacks and be in here all day because, wow, what a place. And even though there's hundreds of people here, I'm in a room by myself right now. If there's no one here, I can't even hear anyone else. When you come on the buses, you can only be in here for a set amount of time, so we'll do a bit of a rush through. Plus, I think people get a bit of tombs and temples fatigue, which is another reason I'm a big fan of coming and staying for longer. You know, really giving yourself a chance to take a break in between them so you appreciate each one. They all need way more time than these tours give them. What a place. Just me alone at Abu Simbel. Don't know where my kids are. Probably need to go find them. Whew. It's amazing that you can go through, you know, decades of life not realizing that there's something that would captivate you completely. And ancient Egypt's that for me. I didn't know. It wasn't like something that enchanted me when I was young. But I am enchanted now. Okay, so if you look at this here, you can see there's not a lot of detail here. And I don't know whether that's because it got moved or whether that's because, as archaeologists say, Rameses II wasn't a stickler for detailed artistry. But either way, because of the scale of everything, you can just take it in as a whole and marvel at it. Even the ceiling, you see? And you see, like, you can't see the separate fingers on these hands. Whereas some of the artists from reigns of other kings, other pharaohs, every fingernail was still visible. Illustration of Rameses II leading the army in Kadesh battle. Alright, so we went through the Rameses II Colossi, the side rooms, the large hall, the small hall, the transverse vestibule, and the sanctuary. So we have been here for a little while, and when we first arrived, we were fighting to get a picture that wasn't full of other people. You know, every space that we went into was kind of crowded. It wasn't crazy, but it was crowded. And now you can see there's just a few people getting some photos. It's easy enough to get a photo by yourself. If you wait it out just a few minutes, ask people to move a little bit. And I'm just sitting here with this backdrop. So it's really a matter of not coming with the buses. So we got a private car out here. We shared with a couple of other families. And so obviously that made it a bit more economical. But it also meant that we're on our own schedule. And we can wait out those tour buses. We can wait them out and we can be here and get our photo ops and also just have that experience of being in the spaces by yourself, because there's something amazing about being in those rooms with another soul. And that feeling isn't quite so much there when they're full of people. They're still majestic, but a little bit of the magic isn't there if you have to share it with a bunch of other people. King Rameses II built the small temple of Abu Simbel in honor of his wife Nefertari and Hathor, the goddess of motherhood, love, fertility, and music. The facade of this rock-cut temple is decorated with 16-meter-high colossal statues, 4 of which represent Rameses II. The other 2 depict Nefertari, who is represented at a comparable scale as her husband. This is a unique honor, one that shows Ramses' great love and high esteem for his queen. Small figures of princes and princesses can be seen standing between the legs of Rameses II and Nefertari. The interior of Nefertari's temple has a hall with 6 pillars representing the kind, smiling face of the goddess Hathor, all facing towards the center of the hall. The walls are decorated with scenes of the king and queen before various gods and goddesses, including scenes depicting the deification of King Rameses II by the gods Horus and Set, the destruction of his enemies in the company of Nefertari, and the queen making offerings to the goddesses Hathor and Mut. Beyond the pillared hall is a small vestibule leading to the sanctuary of the temple, where a rock-cut image of the goddess Hathor can be seen emerging from the interior of the mountain itself, protecting King Rameses II. We are in the temple of Nefertari, which is also dedicated to the goddess Hathor. It's much smaller than Ramses' temple, but it's really sweet and beautiful. Do you like it, Cricket?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see the goddess Hathor?
Hathor, which one? This one, or that one?
Actually, she's this one up on the wall. And up here is Hathor. You see with her wide face? That's the goddess Hathor.
Oh.
She's on the top of the pillars there.
Why is she on every pillar, Mommy?
That's how they did it, you know? Like the same way that Ramses is on like 4 different statues, and then they'll have like, you know, Osiris, and they'll have Osiris in a whole bunch of different places. So here, this is a Hathor temple, so they've got a whole lot of Hathor.
Hathor, 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 Hathor. You can see Hathor. 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 Hathor is everywhere. There. Right there. And there and there. And there and there. That's it. And over here, it's a little dark, but there's still some light. Okay. It's How to select the temple and subscribe to the video down, please.
Yeah, we are leaving, and I don't want to. I feel like I would come back and spend the night locally, so that you didn't have to make that 3.5 hour trek back to Aswan. And I would stay locally, and I would explore more. I would be here all day when there's no crowds. What a place! And there's a nice breeze coming in off the water, which makes a world of difference. But there it is, the Temple of Nefertari, Temple of Rameses II, Lake Nasser. Mine's pointing that way. Shall we go that way? Oop. You alright? You did, but are you hurt or are you okay? Yeah. You're never going to this temple again because you fell? What do you think of Abu Simbel though? Is it smaller than you thought it was gonna be?
I thought it was gonna be humongous.
And of like every temple that we've ever visited in Egypt, where does it rate? Is it your favorite? Is it not one of your favorites?
My favorite is Luxor Temple.
Okay.
This is my second favorite.
Nice. Hello, dude. We stopped for a simple but delicious lunch before getting back on the road. On the way back, we again passed that massive row of trucks stopped on the side of the road, waiting for their turn to take the ferry into Sudan. Our driver told us that these trucks could wait for up to a week for their turn on the ferry, which explains the full setups they had under their rigs. Thanks for joining us on our journey to Abu Simbel. Be sure to check out the rest of our videos from our trip to Aswan. See you next time. Going, back, back.